Wonderful, thank you so much. The honor is all mine. I'm really excited to be with you all here today. We are quite an international group, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know where you all are, but I hope you're having a great day so far. So let's start. Let's start with what Walt Whitman said, the famous American poet and journalist. So he said that we convince by our presence. And I will take it a little bit further and I will add to this that yes, we convince others by our presence, but we first must convince ourselves. You see, presence and the power of presence comes from authenticity. It's all about being authentic. It's all about being yourself. When you become present, you allow others to become present as well. This is how you build connections. This is how you build trust. And trust is the conduit of influence. It is very important to be present if you want to aspire trust, if you want to create trust. Your presence in life is not about you. It's about how you make people feel, how you make others feel around you. It's about the impact you are making on their lives. A survey from the Center of Talent Innovation revealed that executive presence counted for 26% to get a leadership promotion. Another survey from Gartner, it revealed that executive presence came second among the top leadership traits needed for success. So you can see that presence is attracting a lot of attention. Presence is power. And the good news is that we all have this power within us. We don't need any kind of charisma, charm, talent. It doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter how fortunate or unfortunate we've been. We all have this tremendous power within us. All we need to do is learn how to harness that power and make an impact, the impact that we decide we want to make in this world. The more you practice presence, the better you will become at it. It's a day-by-day thing. You have to work on it to conquer it. As Will Durant said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is an act. It's not an act, excuse me, but a habit. Before we start, pay attention to what you're doing right now. Pay attention to your body language. How is your posture? Where are your shoulders placed? What are you doing with your hands? Are you laid back and relaxed? Are you feeling nervous? Where is your mind traveling? Are your feet placed firmly on the ground? Pay attention to what you're doing right now. Pay attention to your body. We are fascinated by body language, but we are mostly interested in other people's body language. We observe, we criticize, and in many cases, we mimic. By the way, the first picture I've shown you, that's Richard Gere, dressed as a homeless in New York. Nobody could recognize him for a whole day. Presence emerges when we feel personally powerful. It allows us to be completely attuned to our inner selves. It's a psychological state, but it's also a physiological state. When we are fully present, everything aligns. Our emotions, our thinking, our words, our gestures, our facial expressions, our posture. As I've said, the good news is that presence comes with incremental change. Presence is about every day, and we can all do it. Presence manifests itself in two ways. First, we communicate with confidence and passion. And second, we synchronize the body with the mind and the emotions. Will this make you more successful? Well, I'm sorry to say that not really. You still have to do the hard work. You have to gain expertise and experience and the skills that you need. But on a personal level, it will allow you to be more confident. It will allow you to enter any challenging situation without anxiety and leave that situation without regret and without the doubt of, did I do well? You will always be performing at your best. On a social level, you will be able to communicate better with people. You will be able to build rapport with people. And you will be able to gain their trust as a good communicator. And of course, you'll be able to make the impact that you want to make. Your voice will be heard. So what are we going to cover today? We'll start with foundations. The foundations is self-awareness and having a greater purpose. We'll move into some of the core elements of presence, like energy, building rapport, poise, voice, listening, posture, and appearance. And we'll close with a little bit about online presence and how to prime your presence, how to prepare yourself for challenging situations. So let's start with self-awareness, which is my favorite one, to be honest. And it's the part that most people, believe it or not, they struggle with this. You see, presence stems from believing and trusting in yourself, in your abilities, in your values, in your feelings. It's all about being authentic. It all starts with being authentic, and it's not about faking, imitating. It's definitely not about creating any kind of persona. It's a self-development process. It's you trying to create a better version of yourself, your ideal self, how you want to become. So, in order to do that, first you need to close your eyes and picture yourself in 2, 5, 10 years from now to see who you are. But more importantly, you need to know what are your strengths and what areas you need to develop. To put it simple, when I talk about authenticity and being yourself, you can't sell a skill that you don't have. And similarly, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. So start with self-awareness. Spend time with yourself. Figure out what you're good at and what you need to develop. Remember that we are all very powerful, powerful individuals. The moment we realize that we are completely accountable for everything that is happening around us is the moment that we start harnessing that great power. You are accountable for your decisions, your actions, the environment you're creating around you, the opportunities you're creating around you. You and only you. And the moment you realize that, you become more confident. You start harnessing the power of presence. Most of us, well, what we try to do, we try to create first impressions. We try to be liked by everyone. And this is so unnatural to the whole system of ours. The mind cannot align with the body. It's very, very hard. It's tremendous work. We are not designed to do that. We are designed to be ourselves. If we try to pretend to be someone we are not, or if we are lying, we come across as fake. And fake is so easily spotted. True confidence comes from an understanding and appreciation of our own abilities, and from an understanding that we need continuous development and growth. The self-awareness exercise will not get us far if we don't have a vision, if we don't have a greater purpose. I started by saying, close your eyes. What is the ideal self you're trying to create? Who do you want to be in 2, 5, 10 years from now? How do you feel being that person? How is your posture being that person? The words you use, the emotions, the gestures, the feelings. Picture you being the ideal version of yourself. This is what you're trying to achieve. Now, by purpose, what I'm trying to say is not I want to be successful, or I want to make more money, or I want to be a good mom or a good dad. Your purpose must have a greater impact. Your purpose must have an impact on others, not just on yourself. How do you make people feel? How are your skills and abilities going to benefit others, not just yourself, in any kind of environment that you work in or operate in? Now be careful when you design your greater purpose or your vision. Make sure that it's realistic and viable. Make sure that you have the skills and the abilities to implement that vision, or at least know what you need to develop. If you define your vision, your greater purpose, you'll always have a compass that will be keeping you on the right track. You'll always be faithful to your values. You'll always be acting with integrity. You will always be purposeful. Now, people with strong presence, they think and they act differently than people with low presence. First of all, they think differently about themselves. They focus on what they can control, not on what, just being correct. If they can't control something, it just gets out of their mind. What can you control and act on it? They're not only highly self-aware, but they also think, they are also very concerned about how others feel and how others think, and this makes them great communicators. They also realize that their body is the main vehicle to convey any message. So they treat their mind and their body with great respect. You wouldn't put low quality gas in your car, would you? Why would you put low quality food in your body? You need to maintain your energy. You need to have high energy. You need to eat well, you need to sleep well, you need to exercise. Remember that presence is signaling something to others. You need to signal to others that you are strong, that you're in control of your body, you're in control of your life. I'm not talking about size. I'm talking about being healthy, being strong, being fit. You've got to look as if you've got some resilience, if you know what I mean. You need to signal to others that you are in control. This will make you confident, and it will convey confidence as well, and it helps you build trust. Now, achieving presence is not only about yourself. The main thing is what you signal to others. It has to come through you, but you're also very sensitive to how others think and act. So one of the basics, the basic steps, is building rapport. You see, we don't all think in the same way, unfortunately. So when we go into a meeting or in a discussion, we tend to think that the other people around us, they have the same facts as we do, they've got the same stereotypes as we do, they've got the same experiences as we do, but they don't. They don't even have the same thinking patterns as we do. At a very basic level, just to illustrate this, people's brains process information in 3 different ways. So we've got the lookers, the listeners, and the touchers. Don't smile, this is serious. I'll start with the lookers. They represent the largest part of our population. They process information better in terms of images and visuals. They're usually well dressed. They stand up tall. Usually they have wrinkles on their forehead because when we remember something we've seen, we tend to look up. And they have amazing eye contact. To build rapport with the looker, give them lots of eye contact and use words that contain visual elements such as it looks good to me, picture this, I see what you mean. Then come the listeners. Their brain thinks in sounds and words. They are not as well dressed as the lookers. They don't pay so much attention on appearance. They have a tendency to look down to their left because that's where we usually look when we remember something that we've heard. They mumble to themselves a lot. They are the pen clickers in the office, if you've spotted them, or clapping their hands on the desk, packing things. They make noise. They annoy all the rest of us, but that's how their brain works. And you know what they don't like? They don't like eye contact. It freaks them out. So to build rapport with a listener, what you need to do is don't stare at them, don't give them lots of eye contact. Instead, start your sentence by looking at them and then move your gaze away. Look back to them when you have to pinpoint something or to stress something, and then move your gaze away to give them space. Use auditory words such as "that sounds good," or "I hear what you're saying," or "tell me your opinion." The smallest part of the population are the touchers. Their brain thinks in feelings and tangible senses. They are the ones rushing to give you a hug when they see you. They invade your personal space and they like to touch you. They touch you on your shoulder, on your arm, on your hand. They dress for comfort, and surprisingly enough, they've got fuller lips most of the times. Again, don't ask me why. To build rapport with the touchers, well, I'm afraid you have to let them touch you. But if you're not comfortable with that, then set your boundaries. For example, when they come to greet you, stretch your arm to set your boundary for the handshake. Use feeling words such as "let's get in touch" or "how are you feeling about this?" Now, I'm sure you're all now wondering what type of brain you have. So let's do a quick exercise. There are many online tests, by the way, but I don't know how reliable they are, so I won't go there. So close your eyes. Go ahead, close your eyes. And think of a moment, an intense moment, that you either recently had or in the past. It can be any kind of moment, a happy moment, a sad moment, a success moment, a failure moment. Just bring that moment in your mind. Right? Got it? Okay, let's give it a try now. So, open your eyes. Now, did you see that moment in your head as a movie, as a series of pictures, or as one vivid picture? Did it come with a strong visual element? If it did, most likely you are a looker. Did that memory come into your head with sound, with a song, with words, with sentences, something auditory? If it did, then most likely you're a listener. Did that memory come into your mind with a strong emotion? Did you feel happy? Did you feel sad while you thought about that moment? If it did, then most likely you're a toucher. Now remember, the important thing is not what type you are. The important thing here is that people with high presence, they pay attention. They are curious how others feel, how others think. Next time you're in a discussion, in a meeting, anywhere, pay attention to other people. What are they doing with their body language? What are they doing with the words they're using? What kind of words are they using? Where do they come from? What do they need? Now, all theories about the authentic self, and by extension about present, require some degree of alignment. Everything we say must be aligned to our body, to our emotions, in order to come out as authentic. Otherwise, it will be fake. And if it's fake, it's very difficult to have alignment anyway. If our actions are not consistent with our values, we will come out as fake. we will not achieve presence. It's all about knowing who you are, who you want to be, what are your values, and acting with integrity. Now, usually our words are very easy to control. You can practice your storytelling, you can practice, repractice, until you make the perfect elevator pitch or whatever it is that you want to tell, to say to people. The difficult part is the non-verbal one, the body language. Let's have a look at a video to illustrate what I'm trying to say. What you're about to see is the first seconds of the 1960 presidential debate between Kennedy and Nixon. You see, back then, television wasn't as widespread as it is today, and of course they didn't have Netflix. So 50% of the population watched the debate on television, and the other half listened to the debate on the radio. Now, after the elections, researchers and analysts, they did all these surveys, and they found out that people who watched the debate on the television, they voted for Kennedy, a great percentage, right? And people who listened to the debate on the radio, they voted for Nixon, a great percentage again. You want to see why and why presence and our body language is important? Let's have a look at the video. Notice how confident Kennedy is, his feet firm on the ground, his hands safely secured in his lap, his posture. Notice how uncomfortable Nixon is. He doesn't know what to do with his hand. He's grabbing the chair. Kennedy is looking straight at the audience, straight at the cameras. Nixon is looking at the presenter and smiling. He feels uncomfortable. He's not being 100% present right there. When we're deciding whether or not to do something, for example, ask for a promotion, we either think of the benefit of the positive outcome or we think of the cost. So, ask a promotion, positive, I'll get the promotion, negative, my boss will get irritated, or he will remind me or she'll remind me of all my flaws and failures. Remember I told you that people with high presence, they think differently? Well, they do. They focus on the benefits. That's why they are greater risk takers. They will ask for the promotion because they focus on the benefit. People with low presence, with low power, they think about the cost and they avoid asking the promotion. So presence is power, and power makes us take action, but powerlessness makes us avoid. The words you use in your storytelling are crucial, but at some point you have to stop preparing for content and start preparing for mindset. If you are protecting yourself against failure, you will not be able to be present because your mind, your focus shifts to protecting yourself. Remember, when you are present, you allow others to become present, and this is what builds connections and trust. When you are honest with yourself, when you're honest with your abilities, your values, and you act with integrity, failure and the fear of failure ceases to exist. It also has to do with our hormones. You know, high testosterone, we're more dominant, risk-taking, lower cortisol, we're more relaxed, we manage anxiety better. And there are tweaks and tricks in our body that we can change this biochemistry. There is a reason when we say stand up tall, it changes the biochemistry. Remember, executive presence is about what you are signaling to others, but it comes from within you. So let's see about poise. Poise is the emotional factor. So if you overreact, well, you will lose your temper and you will lose the game. If you underreact, you may look a bit robotic or a bit cold. You need to have a balance. In challenging situations, you need to maintain composure. But don't become emotionless. It's okay to be anxious. It's okay to be nervous. It's great to have passion. Imagine if a leader doesn't have passion. How on earth is his or her organization going to have any passion at all? What I'm trying to say about poise and composure is every time you feel that you're losing your self-assurance or you're losing your temper, what do you do to get back on track? I'll give you two things. One is your greater purpose. If you have a greater purpose, then every time you take the wrong destination towards your purpose, a bad emotion, a bad reaction, think to yourself, is this helping me reach my destination? I'm sure it doesn't. Second, play with the words. Words have power. We are telling our brains what to do, so use the words wisely, but acknowledge your situation. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that when I lose my self-assurance, I use the word frustrated. And for the sake of this experiment, I will use a positive word to replace frustrated, and I will use determined. Okay? So when I become frustrated and I'm worried that I'm going to lose my poise, what I do is I say to myself, I am frustrated. That's fine, I acknowledge it. Then I add the word and I am determined to channel this energy to achieve my purpose. I am frustrated and I am determined to channel this energy to meet my purpose. I'd advise you to practice this technique. It may sound a bit difficult or silly to some, but it's very, very helpful. And it helps you relax. When we feel safe with ourselves, we are more open to others. We are open to feedback. We are open to suggestions. We are less defensive. And we become greater problem solvers too. Just a couple of things. Don't worry too much. Worries tend to exaggerate themselves. You know what Mark Twain said? He said that I am an old man and have known a great many troubles, but most of them never happened. Imperfect people are the only kind of people. Perfect is just not possible. Simply accept that. Treat everybody with respect and dignity, even your enemies. History has taught us that today's adversaries are tomorrow's allies. Smile. Smile will make you more confident. As Mother Teresa said, peace begins with a smile. You know, if you smile, the other people will smile as well. But more importantly, you will feel better. Now, you need to find your rituals, how to maintain your poise, how to be in the state of mind that you want to be. Let's have a look at a funny video of Rafael Nadal and his series of rituals in maintaining his focus, finding his presence, maintaining his poise. It's quite funny. Look at his rituals. Let's watch it. have many rituals, doesn't he? Let's move into voice. If you want to be seen as a leader, you've got to sound like one, right? The voice has both cognitive and emotional effects on the listener. There's a wonderful TED Talk, you can watch it on YouTube, by Laura Sicola. See, the talk is about how to start by saying your name right. You know how most of us can't remember names? I can't remember names. Well, after watching this video, I realized why. When we are asked what our name is, we usually say, my name is Maria Papacosta. No wonder no one of you will ever remember my name. Well, what Sicola suggests is that, you know, the pitch and the tone of voice and the poses, that play a very important role. So she suggests to say your name in the following manner. My name is Maria Papacosta. Well, I exaggerated a little bit, but the point is, you pitch higher your first name, you pose, and then you let your surname sort of drop. So it's Maria Papacosta. That's how you make an impression. Now, when we feel powerful, when we are fully present, we speak more slowly. We pause, we take our time, we feel entitled to the time we're given. Our voices are affected by anxiety and stress. When we feel confident and secure, the muscles in our larynx expand, so our pitch automatically lowers. But in some cases, you want your pitch to be higher. You want to attract attention from your audience. So play with your voice. Find out when you need to pitch higher, when you need to pitch lower. Breathe from your diaphragm. Breathing is very important. Take deep breaths and practice with your voice how to put color in words. Let me give you an example. We'll hear a very famous voice. Let's see if you can find out to whom this voice belongs to.
I've been so busy that I haven't had really much time to think about it. After all, I know I'm still only me, and so do my family. But I'm very much aware of the responsibilities and a little bit apprehensive. Who wouldn't be when you think of the names that I follow?
No? Oh, come on, I'll give you one more try. What about now?
Let me answer that very deeply, because I feel very strongly about it. The greatest divisions this nation has ever seen were the conflicts of trade unions towards the end of a Labour government.
Of course, I'm sure most of you recognize that the voice belonged to Margaret Thatcher. The first voice clip was Margaret Thatcher before taking any voice coaching lessons. That's why you couldn't recognize the voice. The second voice clip was Margaret Thatcher after taking her voice coaching lessons. You see, Margaret Thatcher soon realized that she needed to work on her voice in order to make an impact and be heard, especially in the noisy British Parliament. So work with your voice. And a final note. Stop placing question marks at the end of your sentences, like I just did, and stop asking questions or question mark phrases like, see what I mean, right? Don't do that. You'll do completely the opposite. People do not respond well to such questions. You don't show confidence. And this gets us to listening. For many of us, it's so hard to shut up, because shutting up is giving up control. When we're talking, we feel that we are in control of a discussion, in control of a situation. We feel that we contribute ideas and energy and passion. High presence individuals, powerful individuals, they don't talk so much. They listen more. You see, by giving up the power of talking, then you have the time to acquire information from your environment. You have the time to understand what the other person is truly saying? Of course, I should add at this point that if you don't have a genuine desire to understand what the other person is saying, you will never listen to them anyway. So anyway, giving up that power and listening instead of talking so much, you gather all this information, you become stronger, you know how to communicate better when your turn comes, and above all, when people feel heard, they are more willing to listen. Remember, you want to make an impact. You want to be heard. Remember what we said about building rapport, that we tend to listen to people on our terms? Pay attention to them. What are they saying? How is their body language changing? Pay attention to them before you communicate with them. By listening carefully and stop thinking about what to say next, you stop focusing on showing what you know, and you pay attention to what you should be paying attention, and then you eventually contribute. You give valuable contribution to the discussion. You also start focusing on bringing the best in others, including yourself. And this leads us to posture. When we talk about body language, everybody thinks of posture. Posture is a strong signal of status. When we are present, we are powerful. When we are powerful, we expand. Power expands our minds and our bodies, like in the animal kingdom. When we feel powerful, we make ourselves bigger. We stretch out, we lift our chin, we pull our shoulders back, we place our feet firm on the ground and a little bit wide apart. In most social situations, we tend to mimic each other, and this is natural. It makes interactions smoother. We also tend to pay attention to high status dominant individuals, just like non-human primates do. And sometimes we complement body language. So if someone is using exaggerated power postures, we are using exaggerated powerless postures. But remember, the goal is intimacy, not intimidation. Now, body language norms vary among cultures. So, for example, East Asians tend to express their physical expansiveness in a vertical axis. They're thinking how low to bow, or whether they should sit down or stand up. Westerners, on the other hand, they express their physical expansiveness on the horizontal axis. They think how far they can stretch their hands, they have bigger gestures, they want to occupy a bigger space in the room. And now that I've mentioned gestures, self-contain your gestures. Avoid extreme facial expressions. These type of extremes, they make you seem out of control. They don't make you look confident. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your abilities. Put your chin up and your shoulders up. This is how you were designed to be. Just 2 minutes, even under 2 minutes of having the right posture changes your biochemistry. You may have heard about power poses. Amy Cuddy is wonderful. She's written a wonderful book on this. So the easiest power pose is this one. Just do it and take a deep breath. Do it for 2 minutes and you'll feel more confident. Give it a try. To illustrate what I'm trying to say about posture, have a look at this picture. Job candidates waiting for their interview. None of them is present. They're all hiding behind their mobile phones. well, except the first gentleman who's hiding behind his coffee. You see that they are not getting ready for their interview. Where is the passion? Where is the energy? Where is the presence? Where are the leadership qualities we're looking for? A high presence individual in this situation would not be holding his or her mobile phone. High presence individuals, they are curious. They observe their environment. They know what is going on around them. They're not wasting time on their mobile phone or behind a newspaper. They maintain posture. They maintain focused to their purpose, to their target. They are fully present, and you can tell once you see them. Appearance. Well, according to a survey by the Center for Talent Innovation, only 7% of leaders find appearance as important. My advice to you, grooming and polish. Nothing else matters. Be respectful to the norms of the environment you operate in. What are the norms within your company, your organization, your workplace? Dress in ways that foster your credibility. Remember, the point is to be heard. Don't dress to attract attention. You want to be heard, not people focusing on your jacket or scarf or something that attracts their attention. Inspire confidence, not concern. And very quickly moving into online presence, because we don't have enough time, as I see. What I can simply tell you about online presence, nowadays when we meet someone physically for the first time, most likely we have seen them before somewhere online, on social media, on an online magazine, in an interview, whatever. Remember, when we talk about personal branding and presence, it's all about creating the ideal version of yourself, a better version of yourself. In your online presence, make sure that you are walking the talk. Are the images, the messages that you're posting, putting out there, reflecting the person that you aspire of becoming? And for those operating in the business world, take care of your LinkedIn profile. It's a very important tool nowadays. So polish it up, showcase to the world your abilities. But be careful, when you post things, it's not about your success and achievements. Of course you're happy and you will share with the world your achievements, but the majority of your expressions should be about sharing and caring for others. What knowledge you've got, what skills, what tips, what expertise can you share to help others? This is what will make you stand out. And closing with priming. How do you prepare yourself for challenging situations? Well, the easiest one is smile. Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel laureate, he got all the leaders in the World Economic Forum in Davos to smile by asking them to place a pen and hold it with their teeth in their mouth. So they all smiled. You don't need a pen to smile, just smile. Other people do other things, like Tony Robbins. Before he goes on stage, he first meditates, then he has a nice cold bath, and then he jumps on a trampoline. Well, I'm not suggesting you buy a trampoline and you start jumping up and down before your next meeting. What I'm suggesting is to find ways to prepare your mind and put your mind in a positive state. I'll give you a very quick example of what you can do, and of course you remember the power pose, right? So next time you are about to enter a challenging situation, bring a memory back into your mind, a successful memory of yours. Remember how you felt, the words you used, how your body language was, what were your gestures. Bring the whole picture, the emotions, anything that you can, even the sounds, into your mind. Just for 2 minutes. That's your power pose. That's priming yourself, getting ready for a challenging situation. I can do this. This is the notion behind priming. Find your rituals, just like Nadal's case we've seen. Find what works for you. Practice, practice, practice. And before I leave you, I want to read you the last lines that Jeff Bezos wrote. He stepped out from being Amazon CEO, and in his letter to the employees, he was very motivational. He wrote the following. I will read it to you. Keep inventing and don't despair when at first the idea looks crazy. Remember to wonder. Let curiosity be your compass. It remains day one. And I will leave you with two words out of this paragraph. Curiosity and day one. People with high presence are always curious and challenging everything around them. People with high presence, they treat every day as day one, with the same passion, the same energy, and the same curiosity. You can all do it. Thank you so much.